Well, commercial design is so important in the hospitality industry. Have you ever been standing in a lobby in a hotel and it's just so luxurious and you think, wow, I just want to stay here forever? Well, there's a reason for that, because it's been designed so that you'll want to stay longer. And I know the people who provide all of the hospitality furniture for them, and that would be Fixtur World. We're here with David Walker. David, so glad to have you back on the show. You've created some incredible pieces, and we were talking about, I said for the South and also for the Yankees, because literally you've created for the New York Yankees some incredible pieces. Tell me about Fixtur World.
Fixtur World's been in business for over 30 years, and we really got started in kind of the institutional industry with working with hospitals. We would do their food service, like the cafeteria serving line, and then it was a natural progression from there to start making tables, the dining tables, the booths, and then we branched out from there into the hospitality arena, where we started making the soft furnishings for the lobby, the banquette seating, the chairs, then the communal tables, the furniture, and just a variety of things for the hospitality industry.
Well, I have visited your manufacturing system, and there is nothing you guys can't create. Now, we're going to show off your work, because you literally have worked for some of the major hotels.
We have.
Let's take a look at some of the images, and I want you to tell me what we're seeing.
Okay, sure. This is a hostess stand that we created for a designer for the American Airlines Arena in Miami, where the Miami Heat plays. And it's a combination of, we get challenged with trying to use lots of different materials, and the black portion of that is actually this material right here. It came in 4x8 sheets. It's 3/8 inch thick, and it's black plexiglass.
Let's look at that. Let me turn it up here so we can see it. Can we see the
detail
on
which
camera we're going to be on for that? Sorry, guys.
And when I was going through the plant and I saw them processing this, it was like a 4x8 sheet. And I thought, who are we doing Egyptian hieroglyphics for?
It does look like hieroglyphs. So this is on the bottom of that stand.
It is. If you look at it closer, though, the designer's really clever. She took a lot of elements from basketballs and from a basketball court, because this is for the Miami Heat. Okay, so you can actually see the free throw line, you can see the center line, and she incorporated that into the design. So I thought that was very clever.
Oh, I love that. Now, is this the one that also had the LED lights on it as well?
Actually, we used a frosted plexiglass for that, and then when we get to that one, I can show it to you if you want to pull it up.
I am so glad you brought that. Now, let's look at this furniture. Very unusual piece.
Now, this is for a Hilton Garden Inn, and every, like a Marriott, a Hilton Garden Inn, they all have their brand standard. They have a footprint, and you can deviate from it some, and they give the designer some latitude, but for the most part, they're all that size. It'll be a left or a right facing. Now, that's a combination of maple veneers and solids, and then it has glass to cover the ends of it, and then those are custom-made holders for those round bolsters. So they've kind of mixed, you were talking about rounds earlier, they've kind of mixed the round, the square, and the rectangle all in one grouping.
Wow, that's fantastic. And these are the ones that were used in South Beach, right?
That is correct. This is the Beacon Hotel in South Beach, and we showed these chairs about 4 years ago at HD Boutique, which is a trade show for the hospitality industry in Miami. And the owners of the Beacon came by and saw them and were just really drawn to them, and there's several of these in their lobby. It's called the Haze Chair, and you're drawn to it visually because it's 6 feet tall, and it incorporates traditional elements where it's got the tufting on it, and then you can't see it in this shot, but it's got chrome legs. It's actually very comfortable as well.
Wow, that's so impressive, and a very large, unusual style table.
Yes, this is for a Hilton Garden Inn that we built. It's a communal table. If you've been in the Marriotts, the Hiltons, they all have a large, they call it a communal table. It's for you to gather. If you're, you can usually plug your laptop into it. You can recharge your cell phone. Can't see it on this picture, but it's actually got USB charging ports in the aprons. It's got outlets in there, and this is a live edge table whereby they just cut the tree down and they leave the bark and everything exactly like it was intact.
What did you call that?
Live edge.
Oh, I like the live edge. You know, I have to brag on you too, David, because you help create so many of these pieces. You're very good at taking designers' ideas and sketching them out and making them come to pass. We have a lot of commercial designers here in this town, and they all use your facility. So we've got some more pictures. I just had to stop and brag on you just a little
well,
bit
thank you,
there.
Denise.
Now, this is another, banquettes, listen, banquettes are great to use in your own home, but also that's where I always ask, every time you ask my husband, when we go to a restaurant, I say, I want the banquette.
They're very comfortable, and if you think about it, you and I are sitting in chairs, and this is our space. When you're in a banquette, you really don't think about it, but it's an open area and it's inviting. You know, there's no space between you, you know, so it invites conversation. And this was, you're talking about from the south to the north, and actually this was for an Embassy Suites in Savannah. And it was in the historic district of Savannah, and they wanted us to create something that had, like, could we incorporate a plantation shutter look into a booth? And so that's what we did. This was solid ash hardwood. Ash is a beautiful, durable hardwood, much like oak. And then they had us covered, of course, with this dark brown stain. But
that's beautiful.
You know, it turned out really nice.
Here are the Yankees. We said that you designed for the South and for the Yankees.
That's correct. Several years ago, whenever the Yankees built their new stadium, they had us do all of the point-of-purchase fixtures inside of their gift store in that stadium. And this is a baseball dispenser. They take and fill the vertical center portion of the top of that, and then the balls just cascade down. And what's interesting about this is we have our own graphics department. We did the large format graphics printing of the Yankees logo. The band in the center of that is corian, and if you know, it's usually typically used for a countertop, but we actually had to take and mill it down to like 1/4-inch slices and then heat it and bend it into the circle and then form it, and then we took, while it was flat on the outer layer, and cut the York Yankees label into it, or their logo, and filled it with blue epoxy and sanded it smooth. So, you know,
that is really impressive. I mean, that's a lot of layers, and you guys will do that right there at your facility in Cookeville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now, again, here's a banquette that we see before, and this is actually on the showroom.
That's
this
the shot
is
after.
installed.
That's installed on site. That's another Embassy Suites at a different place in Savannah, and they kind of had a you know, a colonial rattan island theme. And I don't know if you can see it real well or not, but we did all of that's leather. That's a highly distressed leather that they actually used on those. We built all the millwork surround that goes around that kind of looks like something that would be in a conservatory or a library, raised panel. And then we the pediment that's up on top of it, if you look at it closely, I don't know if the viewers can make it out or not, but those are palm fronds. That's MDF, and we cut into it, and it's a palm frond design. And then they had a poster.
Okay, so that's not glass?
No, it's not glass. It's MDF, and we cut through every bit of it to give it the shapes of the leaves of the palm frond.
That is very impressive.
This is some furniture that we did for a Holiday Inn Express in Madisonville, Louisiana. And this designer loves to use color, he loves to use texture. He'll send us a lot of vinyls that are embroidery, just beautiful fabrics, and he'll combine some of the very unique and different elements in upholstery together.
This is very chic. I like this look.
It is. This is a really high-end restaurant called Spiaggia's in Chicago, and that booth section there has got like a round return on the end of it. This was all leather. And that's like a 25-foot run of banquette spacing.
Wow.
This is another area. It's kind of like I don't know if it's supposed to be like a sushi area or a food prep area, but you can actually sit there and dine. And I don't know if we did all of the counter space. That's actually marble tiles, and we incorporated all of the glass work on top of it. And the piece.
The one on the end, is that more like little wood pieces that what is that?
If you're familiar with John Boos that make cutting blocks.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
the little cutting blocks.
We bought 9 John Boos end cutting blocks, and we hollowed. That's actually hollow. We took that and put it on our CNC machine and hollowed every one of those out in the center on the back side, and then we glued all those together. That's all in-grain solid hard rock maple, and then we sanded on it for about 4 days.
Oh my goodness. And that's the restaurant.
This is the entrance to Spiaggia's, and evidently they have a wonderful wine collection because they're showcasing it, and we actually built all of the wine racks in that.
Oh
in the
my
front.
goodness, this is so impressive. I am always impressed with your work.
Well,
anyway.
Thank you. It's not me, it's the guys that have over 30 years experience.
Now this is here locally, isn't it?
That is a restaurant in Murfreesboro called Toots, and it's a family-friendly restaurant, and they just took a basic booth design and had a real colorful, fun play on colors. They put a wave scene design in the back and used a variety of colors.
Again, banquettes.
Yeah, these are, yes, some booth seating that we did in Wolfgang Puck's, and it's these were not leather, they were faux leather, but we also did, as well as the booths and tables, we also did the The surround, the area of the checkout counter that had the reclaimed barnwood, we did all that as well.
And so when you take the idea, now I know you give a lot of credit, but I mean you really do. You're so good at facilitating a designer's idea and taking it and putting it into some of these restaurants. If there are some commercial designers watching, or are there some people who need hospitality furniture, I mean, they can talk with you and you can help them develop the idea.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we've got a sample that we want to show too. This was so interesting to me. If you'll prop it right up here, I think the camera, tilt it toward the camera. I want people to see. Very interesting. Tell me about this.
Hotels are always looking for, behind the reception area, they're always looking for an interesting wall treatment. You know, they don't want to just paint it. Sometimes they'll use raffia, they'll use an interesting wallpaper. But we developed this design, and it's just 4x8. They mocked this up, the engineers did for me at work, and it just snaps in place. And I hope I can get one of these out without breaking it. But you can kind of see how it works. Yeah, don't let me hit you with it.
They'll gouge your eyes. No.
So it literally just snaps into a.
Okay, so you guys have routed this out.
Yes.
I know how to say router. And then you pop these in. I mean, that is so time consuming. How many people do you have there, like, working on things like this? You do, and this was something that you do one day, and the next day you're off, you know,
That's
to
correct.
Another idea.
We would, what we do is, well, it takes, you know, probably half an hour or so just to run the grid that this goes on, and it takes several hours to run the little individual pieces, and they have to be formed and shaped exactly right to where when they go together, they enclose every bit of that and you don't see it. And then we actually have teams of installers that we build the product on site. And we have teams of installers that will go to University of Chicago Medical Center and actually install the booths, or they'll install the point of purchase checkout counters.
So they don't send you to do that, Nathan?
They don't send me to do that, no.
No. Well, you've got something that right below you there that's a LED lights. You know, they've been used for so many things in design right now, and you're going to show us what do you use this for? You guys do some electronics in your engineering and that kind of thing.
We have wonderful design engineers, and it's a lot of times we'll be asked to light an area in a special way, and they don't really want it to be visible. And later on, I hope we've got a shot of it. We did a bar with this same plexiglass. It was a frosted plexiglass, and we took it and put gold laminate on top of it, and then cut that same basketball gold design in it. And then we took 2 strips of these and mounted them across the back.
Oh wow, look how bright that is.
And it just puts out a tremendous amount of light. Those are LED lights. It's from a company called Inspire. And you can literally run these 50 feet long if you want to, just keep plugging into the end of them.
Now, these come in different colors too.
Red, green, blue.
And then you've got the soft white
There's a soft white.
In case you want to use it. Now, my producer said that we do not have that picture, so I don't know if it just didn't get over to us. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
But you can certainly really create anything that people are looking for, from the furniture to the backsplashes, any type of, and if they can create it, they can see it in their favorite hotel. You know, that's what I think elevates a motel. You know,
to a hotel.
Exactly,
yes.
to a high-end boutique hotel. Now, you get a lot of requests from hotels, and you have been able to make multiples of things. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, typically, like that one section that you saw there, we put that in several different venues for Hilton Garden Inn. Marriott have come to us from time to time, and actually we don't work exactly with Marriott, but they will hire or farm out to design firms, okay. That specialize in industrial design, and they'll send us a specification sheet. They'll send us sometimes a floor plan, sometimes an elevation, and they'll give us a furniture schedule or a color schedule that tells us what fabric they won't use, what colors they won't use, and then sometimes they'll rely on us. Well, can you do something with metal, or can you do something with lighting that's special, that differentiates us from other people?
Well, and they know that you've been working with the other people, so you kind of have the inside scoop on what you built for the other companies and the hotels, and so you're kind of in that industry in a way, so you can sort of steer them away to something you've never done before. And that's what I love about your company. You're not afraid to do something new. People don't say, no, we've never done that before, can't handle that. You've got people that can do it.
We just say, give us a few days to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
give
we
us a
like
few
again,
days.
and we have, like I said, we have our own arts and graphics department, and we can do large format printing, murals, and we can actually render.
Now, what do you mean by murals?
Maybe it's sports graphics, you know, for the University of Tennessee and their athletic center. You know, there was huge photographs of like some of the players that are full size. We could print those and integrate them into a different venue.
And you could even make that like into wood if they wanted it, or glass.
Typically, we'll just take and print it on like a vinyl and then attach it to something. Okay?
Oh, okay. Okay. So really, you can take any image that they may already have, and a lot of business owners may be watching too, and they want to maybe have something really nice in their lobbies, or they want to create something for a backsplash. You can do that as well.
We can, yeah. Even the signage. You know, if you've got signage, you know, it says cafe dining here or something. We have a laser machine that we can actually take and cut the acrylic, different colors of acrylic out, and we can work all that onto glass and just build your signage as well.
That's fantastic. Well, David, you always give us the great ideas. Love all of this. And I know the next time I'm sitting in a restaurant or I'm waiting in a hotel lobby, I'm going to look around at my surroundings and think, okay, I think I know who made this, and they're right here in Cookeville, Tennessee. So coming up, we're going to give you some party tips. You know, that's one of my favorite parts of the show. That's coming up right after the break.